Hello, Dr. Oz.
How are you?
Good morning.
Pretty good. Welcome to the Frosty, Heidi and Frank Show. I guess you have some new advice for us about the coronavirus?
I do.
And this one's about your own home, like what to do while you're isolated to protect yourself even more. So it's like borders of your house. What's that even mean?
All right. So the reality of our house is we can keep it super safe on the inside, but the borders are where you make your mistakes. Example, you go out and buy food, which you're going to have to do. What do you do with the containers of the food? But which of those foods might be contaminated? Which ones you have to be careful about? So if you want, I'll walk you through how I take care of the food, the takeout you order, your clothes, the basic, almost instinctive decisions you should make to make sure the house is as safe as you think it is. So you want to start with food?
Let's start with the food.
Yeah.
All right. So the containers of the food potentially are contaminated because people have touched it. You don't know who, especially if it's takeout. That's a concern. The food itself is fine. That I'm not worried about. Unless someone's purposely trying to sabotage you, that'll be okay. But I take the food that comes to my home, because we're bunkered here as well. We're in the New York area where it's really the epicenter now in the world. And we dump the food itself into other containers and toss the containers themselves. Because those containers were handled by people at the restaurant, the people driving it here. They don't even know they're sick half the time. And when I say that, literally, I mean that. Looking at cruise ships and people coming off them who were all screened, about half the people had positive tests, didn't know they were sick.
Did you hear that
Pilates while getting tested?
Did you hear that? I think it was on a Princess cruise line that they found the coronavirus had lived for 17 days in one of the rooms. Did you hear about that?
I did. And just to be fair, they found residue of the virus. The virus, we don't know if it was alive. They just found evidence that it had been there.
Ew.
But 17 days is a long time. I mean, most of our data is that you have 2 to 3 days of risk, which is plenty of risk, by the way. You have no idea who touched that handle of the door 2 days ago. So you should assume that it's dirty, which is why either not touching it, using a Kleenex when you touch it, or washing your hands right afterwards is a smart move. And back to the containers of the food. Yeah. Same goes for that. I mean, some innocent person trying to help you handle that product to get it to your doorstep, they have no idea that they actually are infectious and didn't, have no symptoms. So you have to take precautions. Now, food that you buy from the grocery store is a little different because here you go. It's not been touched as much, hopefully, and you have a couple choices. So the virus will die on most surfaces within 2 to 3 days. So you could leave it alone. That's a little bit clunky. The better way maybe is to wipe it down or spray it down, which is actually more effective. When you spray surfaces or containers of food, you got to give it a good squirt and wait 2 to 3 minutes for it to dry. That's how the virus dies. If you quickly wipe it down with a wet wipe, you're just spreading the virus.
Oh, no.
So don't waste your time. Don't waste a wipe. Just spray it down if you can do that. And we're running short on spray, so I've got a recipe on droz.com of just making your own with Clorox, which most people have around, or just use soap and water, which is still the most effective and certainly least expensive solution.
Now, if we are one of the essential businesses still open, which is really going into my head and ego, but if we are an essential business, I'm wearing these clothes to work today. When I get home, should I take these clothes off at the door and leave them outside and get dressed in something else when I get home?
You don't have to leave them outside, but we believe fabric can harbor the virus, but less than 24 hours. So I'll tell you what I do. My shoes come off immediately. The shoes don't come in the house.
Okay.
My clothes I take off and I hang up, and I quickly change. I actually will shower often when I get home. At least wash your hands, your face, all the things that may have touched other containers, so, again, you don't spread it all over the house. And hang the clothes, and with a day, it should die. The virus will be dead, so you can wear them the next day. You don't have to launder them every time.
What does Dr. Oz wear when he gets home? What's your comfy clothes?
I actually have scrubs.
Oh, yeah, you're always in scrubs.
Yeah, right.
From one scrub to the next.
Yeah.
They're cheap, right? They're $14. Cotton scrubs. They feel good.
Nice.
Now, as far as leaving your shoes at the door, a lot of people do that just as a normal practice for their household, and usually I never go to their house again because that irritates me. But were you one of the people who already practiced the shoes at the front door thing, or is this something new for you?
We didn't practice that at our house. And when I was growing up, we did, because my family's Turkish, and that's the custom. But in this country, we didn't. We'd wear shoes around. It was just easier. If you had, obviously, wouldn't track mud along the rugs, or my wife would be telling us about what a jerk we were.
Right.
But now we're more cautious about it. Again, we don't walk around barefoot. To your point, we have other shoes that we have around that are more like slippers, and we're thoughtful about the shoes that are inside and the shoes that are outside. So the shoes I'm wearing right now, my bunker in the basement, not the shoes that would go outside with. Or if I walked, I just go to the front door, get up the paper, and come back in again.
Be honest, you're wearing Crocs right now, aren't you?
No, I tell you, Crocs. I have PTSD from Crocs because in the OR,
Right.
you have to wear Crocs because you. It's graphic, but I'll share it with you because you're friends. So it bleeds in the surgery sometime, and I'm a heart surgeon, so it bleeds a lot. So when the blood gets on your shoes, if you shock the patient and you have blood in your shoes, you'll conduct the electricity.
Whoa.
So you have to wear rubber Crocs so that they don't conduct electricity, so you don't kill yourself trying to save the patient.
Wow.
That I've never heard that. That's wow, Dr. Oz.
The more you know.
Seriously,
My
that's
gosh, Dr.
crazy.
Oz. I got another question for you. When Donald Trump said that he wants the churches packed by Easter, saying he has this Easter, it's like less than 3 weeks away.
April 12th, yeah.
That this thing's going to be in hand. Do you think that date is something that we can look forward to, or is that just a date?
I mean, I think the president is saying it's a great day for a resurrection. Maybe it can work for our nation as well. And he's trying to give people an end date. No one knows the date. Right. And I can guarantee you New York City is not going to be up on its feet by Easter. But other parts of the country that have not been hit as hard might. And the question we got to all address and be honest with each other about is, should the whole country suffer because New York's having a catastrophe? And maybe the better way to do it is the way China did it with Wuhan, where they quarantined 60 million people, biggest quarantine ever, and they let the rest of the country go on with its life. And they shut down some things, but most of the country didn't have much of an epidemic, and they got back to business pretty quickly. Wuhan is opening up in a week, and they don't have any new cases. So we'll get through this one way or the other. The question is, how do we make it least painful for everybody? And by least painful, I mean least loss of lives, because I'm a doctor, is my primary focus, and then respectful of the fact that people are depressed, which is 50% depression rate in China during the blockade. So it's a risk. People need to go back to work. People feel desperate financially. These all have a cost as well.
Luckily, this $2 trillion stimulus bill was agreed upon in the Senate. Now it's going to go to the House. Are you looking forward, Dr. Oz, to that $1,200 check you're going to be getting?
It's going to put me over the top.
Hell yeah, man.
My kids want a bigger allowance now.
Right.
Yeah, because they get $500 each. That's awesome.
Nice.
Seriously. Well, Dr. Oz, it's been great talking to you, man. Thank you so much for checking in with us.
Thanks for spreading the wisdom. Keep people calm.
Thanks, Dr. Oz. Fox 11, 1 p.m. every weekday. You can watch
Check
the
him
Dr.
out.
Oz show. We love him.
He's a good guy.
Oh, yeah.